Well, it's time to check out. And before I check out, I need to check in. I need to see what's in my basket, because you know what? What's in this basket is going to go to my house, and what goes to my house is going to eventually get in my stomach. I have a litmus test. I literally think about it. It's one of our memory verses for later on. It's 1 Corinthians 10:31, which says, "Whether therefore you eat or drink, do all to the glory of God." And I ask myself, hey, does this glorify God? If I eat what's in this basket, glorify God? If I drink what's in this basket, glorify God? And I'll be honest with you, there are times I have to put stuff back. But you know what? That's part of dedication. That's part of honoring God with my body.
Being raised in the country, it's awesome because one thing about it is there's no noise. You get to come and go as you want, and that's one thing. Growing up, it was just really relaxed, and that's one thing I really enjoyed. Was no fast pace. You know, it's just a great place to grow up. If it wasn't fried, we weren't going to eat it. We hunted a lot, and you know, that's one thing in the South. That's what we do. We hunt for our food, and we had a garden that we minded and tended to. And being the youngest of four, I got pretty much a little bit less than everybody else just because they were all bigger than me. So 2 older sisters and an older brother. Me being the youngest, I was always small as a kid too. When I got to college and figured out that pizza places delivered, that is when I started gaining my weight. You know, when I graduated high school in 1989, I weighed 125 pounds. I was little, tiny guy. And my joke is always that they used me as the right goalpost in the football game. I got to work out a little bit more when I went to school, so I sort of beefed up a little bit and played a lot of intramural football, basketball, and it was really a great time. And college life, they always talk about the college 15 or college 20. I think I gained 40 pounds when I was in college, probably even more than that, just because we ate constantly. I just ate more than, we would eat 2 pizzas. You would eat a whole pizza by yourself, and your roommate would eat one, and you would drink Cokes like they were going out of style, and that's pretty much what I'm known for, is I can drink a Coke. I never really drank water, even growing up. There was always sweet tea in the refrigerator, always Cokes available. And that's one thing that got me to where I was overweight was sodas. I drank sodas. I would even go to bed at night and have sodas on my nightstand, waiting for me to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and drink a Coke. I wanted that Coke. I was addicted to sodas. I didn't care what kind it was. I would drink it. I would drink 18 to 24 sodas a day. A day. Yes, I would drink a case of Coke or whatever kind of soda was around a day. And that was my vice. I had to have it. That is the point where I realized that I had a weight problem, was after I started drinking that many sodas. One thing that they say about caffeine is it pumps you up. Well, it pumped me up for about 4 minutes, and then I was ready for another Coke. I needed that drive, that motivator in my life, because if not, I was just going to sit around, and it was just ridiculous what it did to my body. My highest, I was around 280. Working in the restaurant industry, I got free food. And, the best places are pizza places, hamburger places. I'd get to eat for free at those places. And I calculated it when I started Bod4God that the last 3 days before I had my aha moment, I had consumed somewhere around 6,000 to 8,000 calories each day those last 3 days. I never ate breakfast. Never drank water. It was pretty sad time in my life. My aha moment is an interesting thing because my wife Audra and I have two beautiful boys, Bradley and Brody. And Bradley was 4 years old at the time and was going to pre-K at Glenrose, and the school was pretty much right across the road from us. And they had a helicopter from the National Guard land at the school. They had a fire truck. They had a police car. They had an ambulance there. And they got to talk to those people and sort of visit it. And when he got home, he told me about it. He was so excited, Bradley was. And I said, you know, being the father, I said, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, you know, not, I want to be a good father, good guy, good American, good human being. His words changed my life. He said, I want to be fat like you. You talk about a slap in the face. That was hard. My testimony has a title. It's Out of the Mouth of Babes. One thing that we learn from the Bible is that God uses children to get to you. He used Bradley to change my life. But one thing is, I love that boy now because he was honest with his father. You know, he could have lied and said, you know, Dad, I just want to be a good golfer like you. But he didn't. He was honest. But God gave him those words to change my life, my family, and my church through Bod4God. And it's just an awesome thing.
We're talking about E is for exercise. And we're talking about how we can glorify God with exercise. And that's glorifying Him because we were made to move. And in this session, we're going to talk about some tips that can help us to move. But remember, the Bod4God thought is it's better to exercise 1 hour a day than to be dead 24 hours a day. Just think about it. We're talking about exercise to live. We're talking about how that we can live, and to live we've got to exercise. Now today I have Cedric Bryant with me, and Cedric is a friend of mine. He also is someone that I go to for advice on exercise, and he is a healthcare professional. He's a certified trainer, and I've asked him to join me for this session and to give some tips on exercise. So welcome, Cedric. Good to have you with us today. So let's get started. Let's talk about some things that can help people in their exercise program.
Well, first, when starting an exercise program, it's important to get clearance from a physician if you need be. But if everything's good to go, then I suggest you just start and go at it. And the best approach is just by doing something. Anything is exercise. I say anything when you're moving is exercise. Some things that I like to incorporate into exercise programs when starting out is just basic, keeping it simple, keeping it basic, not really getting too overwhelmed by going to the gym and seeing all these new machines and pieces of equipment that you may not be familiar with. So I like to grab dumbbells, maybe a medicine ball, step stool, a band like you see here, like we have, and I'll show you some exercises that we can do. And this is going to be my guinea pig right here for you guys.
Now I just want to emphasize what he said about exercise. Exercise is all movement. It's all activity. So just keep that in your mind. That is exercise. Moving your body more. All movement, all activity is included as a part of exercise. So what are some things that maybe we can do?
Well, before we start, we want to know that we always have some good sneakers, okay? It's important to have good shoes when you're exercising. You don't want to just come out in your work boots or anything like that. You got to have some good sneakers. Pastor Steve has these good Asics. I'm sure it's important to make an investment in shoes, even though if you may want to bite your lip at the price tag a little bit, it's good to make that investment in your feet because they're really important.
Yeah, I actually went to a running store, and if there's one of those in your community and got fitted for these shoes, it really made a big difference. I didn't start out doing that. Let me make that clear. I just put on some old tennis shoes I hardly ever wore, but as I got into it, I mean, I saw the serious need for a good pair of tennis shoes.
Yeah, no Spurries, topsiders, no loafers or anything like that.
Okay.
Okay, but when we're doing exercises, you know, starting out, it's important to incorporate a cardiovascular warm-up, okay? So you just don't want to go into it cold. So whatever muscle groups that you're going to be planning on working that day, so whether it be shoulders, chest, upper body, lower body, you want to warm up those areas before we start. So something to kind of warm us up, say, just in general, okay? We'll do some arm circles, okay? Anybody can do arm circles unless you have no arms. That's the only way it can prevent you from doing arm circles, okay? So when warming up, I'd say, you know, about 5 minutes of cardio warm-up. And this is just if you don't have access to a treadmill, you're at home in the comfort of your living room, basement, wherever, you can do this, okay? And you may want to mix it up. We'll start off with forwards, backwards, okay? Just like you see Pastor Steve here, and we'll go through a couple other ones that I like to, you know, incorporate to exercise. Keep it going, right?
All right.